He's a Brooklyn native, he's a history buff, and he has a badge of honor, which we'll talk about a little later. But quite frankly, he is more than anything a very funny guy. From the legendary history hyenas to his special property owner, Yannis Pappas. Welcome to On Par with Maury Povich.
Thank you. It's good to be on par with you.
Yeah, right.
I like being on par.
Yeah. Copacetic, right?
Yeah, we're just on par.
Right.
I like that. It's very egalitarian. I like it.
So, you're a Brooklyn guy.
I'm a Brooklyn kid, Park Slope, which was sort of a colony of the city a little bit. So it meant that we went to church in the city. I was the kid of immigrants, so we were trying to be upwardly mobile. So,
by the way, were you Greek Orthodox?
Greek Orthodox.
Can I just interrupt right now?
Yeah. The Turks
Do
didn't
you
get
really
us.
have to have weddings that long?
We do. Yeah, we do have to do that.
I mean, it's like everything is 3 times.
Yes. That is...
For hours.
That is the way Greeks do it. That's the way Greeks do dinners. That's the way Greeks do family gatherings, family conversations, nothing short. You got to get everything out. We're not a passive-aggressive people. We are a emotional and aggressive people, and we need things to play out till their culmination. Yeah, it's a long ceremony.
Oh, boy.
It's a long ceremony.
Here's the worst part about it.
Yeah.
We had to go to one with my 5-year-old kid.
That's tough. That's tough.
And he's going nuts.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. Yeah, I remember I used to go to church and the services along, and when you're a 5-year-old kid, we didn't have, that's when you need an iPad. I assume the kids now get the iPad. The iPad is just, when
all you had were what, Legos or something?
You had Legos, or what you had is a smack of the kid. So the kid was, sitting there, picking his nose, farting, whatever, you just smacked him. And now you got the iPad. So I assume kid smacks are down.
So you went to American University and studied kind of history.
The American University, Washington, D.C. Yeah.
Can you imagine this?
Yeah.
I was there for a year.
Were you?
Yeah.
In the 1700s?
Well, close. Yeah. I got kicked out of my original college.
What was that?
University of Pennsylvania. They kicked me out.
That's a good school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was born and raised in D.C.
Yeah.
So I was going to go, believe it or not, I was going to go into the reserves because it was during the Kennedy administration and everybody was, because they had to draft.
Yeah.
And I was going to go do my 6 months in the reserves. And my father says, the hell you are.
Smart dad.
You are going to go back to school and try to reapply to that original school. So he calls up his buddy. My father was a sports writer for the Washington Post for 75 years. Calls up his buddy at AU. And I go to AU for a year, reapply to Penn, and get back in. But I liked AU.
I like that. You took a detour.
Yeah.
I like that.
Stick
to the plan.
But AU was a nice place. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was right up there on Westmoreland Circle or wherever. It was great.
Well, I got in. I was not a great student.
I told you I got kicked out.
Yeah, so we are on par. I was not a good student, and so I got in right after the school had experienced sort of a scandal. I don't know if this is fodder, if this is appropriate, but it's well-known news. It was this guy, Richard Berenson, who was like a very famous...
He was the head of the school.
He was the head of the school, and he had a little scandal.
Right.
So I think they were loosening up the admissions a little bit.
Good.
They're like, we need bodies in there and to move past this.
Yeah.
And so...
Why did you gravitate to history and public service?
I always loved history, and I'm not good at math.
Can you use it? Can you use history in your act or not?
I do use history in my act. I do it. We use it on me and Chris Distefano have a podcast, History Hyenas, which we use it for. And I look forward to every episode because I get to research a historical topic and sort of go down a K-hole and learn everything about it. So it's fun. I love history. It tells the story of where we are now. And I really like that. I really like understanding where we are now.
When I got into television news, it was the greatest background for me ever. I don't believe people should study journalism in college. Mm-hmm. I think they should study history.
Interesting.
And I really believe that because that's where everything comes from.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you have a bedrock of knowledge there?
That's right.
Wouldn't you think?
It helps you understand current issues too, and a lot of times you'll hear people talk about current issues, and you go, "Oh, that you don't know the context of this," And so it helps to understand the context of some of the, conflicts we have today. I think it's nice to know history so you can get a full picture and realize that humans have always been bad. All of them.
Your family's from Crete.
My mother's from Crete, and my dad's from a tiny island that's renamed. It's a Turkish name now with squiggly lines on top, so it's hard for me to pronounce. It's hard for anyone to pronounce. But he was from a small island called Imbros.
And you've been to Crete.
I've been to Crete.
So have I.
Have you been there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great. In fact, it was kind of the prelude for my wife and I getting married, because we went on this vacation to Crete and we were dating for it's like probably you and your wife date a long time before you get married.
Yeah.
So 7 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So we go to Crete, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
So over the years, she wanted to get married, I didn't. Then I wanted to get married, she didn't. So we leave Crete, we come back home. 6 weeks later, she calls me up and she says, "We can get married now." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because I found a dress." 6 weeks later, we were married. You like that?
Yeah.
That would be something your wife would do?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, it's for them. The wedding, the dress, it's a grown-up Disney party.
You do that. I saw you do this bit about on your Mom's Love.
Mom Loves Special, yeah.
Yeah, special, where you had the bride coming down with this long train.
Yeah, the dress is so long. It's on the floor. It's like, can anyone get the right size? And there was little kids holding the bottom. It's like, how about we just get a dress that fits so we don't got to bring back child labor laws? Yeah. It's a real crazy show, and it's fun. And my advice to any guy getting married is just go along with it.
Right.
Just don't think any rational thoughts. Don't look at the bottom line and the bank account. Just know it's her party. The honeymoon, act like it's special. Even though you've been together 5 years and you're probably in Cancun, just act like, oh, this is different, Don't fart in the bed, Go to the bathroom like when you were first together, I farted in the bed on my honeymoon. My wife's like, "You're ruining the honeymoon." I'm like, "We've been together like 7 years. Like, this is just another vacation." She's like, "This is special." I'm like, "Not really. It's all different now."
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone should get married. It's great.
Meanwhile, there's an age difference with you and your wife.
Yeah, we got about 14 years.
Wow, that's
one of the perks.
That's twice mine.
Yeah, well, it's one of the perks of the entertainment business. We stay young. I mean, look at you. You look 40. You look great.
Well, thanks.
You got to stay in business. You got a lot of staff. They got to put their kids through school.
Well, that's the problem.
I was talking to them out there.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I got all these people.
Yeah.
First of all, in a talk show, I had these people working for me, 100 and some people, for 30 years. Yeah. I mean, they got married. They had kids.
Yeah.
Then their kids had to get into college. Then they had to have their own health care. I mean, it was like the pressure was ridiculous.
Yeah. They told you, "Hey, Maury, you got to keep working. We're not done yet."
I know.
I got great grandkids I got to pay for. You've been the man. You've been able to keep it going.
So, do you still think about that night in Soho when you're 20, 21 years old, when you get shot?
It's not one of my favorite memories. I'd put it up there. It's probably a millionth. I'd put it as my millionth and 10 best memory.
I'll set it up for everybody. You're about 20, 21.
Yeah.
You're working in Soho at now a place that doesn't exist called the Envy.
Envy
and you're also working there as well as doing your stand-up act. Mm-hmm. And the owner has cash. And
no stand-up then. I was just working at the club.
Oh, you weren't?
Yeah, it was just, I started comedy, but that was just a job I did, to live.
And the owner has the cash from the night, and he's going to deposit it. And so you're going to get into the car with him. Mm-hmm. And then what happens?
And then a little boo-boo happened. I got shot in the leg with a gun, point-blank range.
With a robbery.
Robbery gone awry.
Yeah.
Yeah, robbery gone awry.
He's trying to get, you're kind of half in the car. He's kind of trying to get you. You move his arm up, and he shoots you in the thigh.
That's right. Thank God. Thank God I had a fat butt. The bullet went into my butt, went into my right leg, and lodged itself in my right ass cheek. So, people say be in shape, but Sometimes it's good to have a little extra cushion because I was always.
Meanwhile, the bullet sits there for 2 years.
It did sit there for 2 years. I thought it was going to set off metal detectors. It didn't.
Because it wasn't near the surface so they could take it out.
Exactly. And again,
but what you do in your act, which I love, is that finally it's kind of moved to your butt, it's coming to the surface, and they take an X-ray.
So
and it's the most humiliating moment of your life.
Yeah. So at that time I was doing I did social work for about 5.5 years, and at that
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
You got out of comedy. It was that traumatic.
Yeah. I just was going on stage and having panic attacks, and I didn't understand what panic attacks were. So early 2000s, the internet wasn't as like research friendly and information ubiquitous as it is now. So I was learning about it. I didn't know what was going on, and I'd get on stage and I'd just start freaking out. And I'd kind of quit for a little while. I started doing social work, which I always kind of wanted to do. And then I started doing disaster relief, 9/11 disaster relief, and that's when this happened. So I was working with a bunch of like older Christian ladies, and I went to the surgeon to take an X-ray of where the bullet was, because we were going to get it removed, because it was starting to hurt because it would rip muscle to get to the surface, because that's what your body would do, reject a foreign object. So I brought the X-ray back. I hadn't looked at it. I got off the train, brought the X-ray, and all the women were like excited. They wanted to see the bullet. So I took the X-ray out and put it up against the window. And I didn't know X-rays produce such detail. I mean, it was a complete outline of my
limp dick.
It was just my limp penis just on the side. A full outline. Yeah. So it was just, they were like, whoa. Right. Yeah. So beware, if you get an X-ray, it does pick up some of the details.
But at least you put it in the act. I mean, it wasn't that, maybe, did that help with the trauma?
Yeah, comedy always helps with trauma. You know that. Sure. I mean, comedy is our tool to emotionally survive. I mean, my dad was a Korean War vet. He had PTSD, and he always told me, not only do you have to survive emotionally. And I think comedy is the best tool to survive emotionally. You take anything hard. It turns any loss into a victory. It lets you know there are no losses, only stories. And they turn into fodder for great entertainment later, whether you're at the dinner table or you're a professional comedian or, a journalist, a host. It's just, we gotta tread lightly. My dad always said too, he said, hey, stay flexible. Anything too stiff snaps. So you gotta be loose.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, I had Mark Normand on.
Ooh, Maury. Yeah.
So
human AI is what I like to call it.
Mark his style is machine gun.
Yeah.
Your style is almost machine gun. You want to laugh very quickly.
Yeah. I like to, he's a joke writer and one of the best, and I've known Mark since he started, and he writes before. He's, very mathematical. The punchline's coming. There's meat on it, but I'm more like we're having a conversation. It's a one-sided conversation, but it's very...
Yeah, but your laughs come quick.
They come quick, too, so I tighten it up, too. But I write more on stage. I think Norman's more of a guy who writes before. Those are the two types of comedians, guys who, chisel away at it on stage, like with an idea, and then you chisel away with it and use
Are you trying to tell me that you don't know where you're going?
I have no idea where I'm going.
You're kidding.
I polish
all of that is basically ad lib?
No, well, some of it is. Depends on the night. It always changes. My material always changes a little bit because I just get sick of it. Like, if it feels like a script, I just kind of lose interest. And most important thing for me is to feel connected to the people. And so I'll change it a little bit. So, but those punchlines are there. And when I do the special, I pretty much stick to where I know is for efficiency, like this is where I get, these are the punchlines that I need to hit.
So I've kind of become friendly. Mm-hmm. This is the other side of comedy with Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson's great. I just did his podcast.
So he, on the other hand, he will string you along for 2 minutes before he can get a laugh.
Yeah.
That is, I talked to Norman about Norman told me that he would be sweating like crazy if he had to go that long without a laugh.
Things have changed. As you know, we're on a podcast. So things have changed. When me and Mark came up, we came up in New York rooms. So New York crowds are very like, they can be doing anything. So they almost feel like they're doing you a favor by coming to the show. They're like, I could be at Broadway, I could be anywhere. Where you go to like a small town or you go to the Midwest, they're just happy to see you and they give you more leeway. But New Yorkers and people in New York, even tourists, are here to see a lot. So they come in that room, they're looking at you like, go, where's the laughs? So we had that pressure to just, and I came up in a lot of black rooms too, and you have to, or else you start hearing sucking
black
teeth. Rooms?
Oh,
they're hard. Like there's like a circuit of shows that are like mostly black audiences when I was coming up, and you have to be funny quick. They spent money and they just have this thing like, go. So you can't do a long, drawn-out story. They're like, I'm here for joy and laughter.
See, I told Josh he reminded me of Carlin.
Yeah, well, Josh has that ability. Like, you have to have so much gravitas to be able to pull an audience in, and the public speaking ability he has is great. Some people just, they pull you in, and you're listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you like any clean comics?
Love them. Nate Bargatze's one of my best friends. We had a podcast together. A defunct podcast in like 2009, 10, when it was very early. Me and Nate had one together, and I watched his rise, and I always knew he was going to be the biggest comedian in the country. And
never jealous?
Never jealous. Never. He does something so different than me, and what does jealousy do for you? I mean, it's like you got to be happy.
You don't think comics get jealous?
Oh, they do. Oh, they do. It's awful. We're children. Yeah, we're children. Yeah, it's bad. But now with the internet, what's great about the internet is that there's so much more opportunity. We're not all competing for like 5 or 6 slots.
In the old days, if you got a Carson spot, or even now today, that was how you were able to get audiences.
That's right.
Today, YouTube.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, no, back in the day, if the industry had stayed the way it was, I'd Tanya Harding. I would hit Nate's knee. I'd try to do something. We're all competing. It was tougher. I'd show up backstage, hit his knee.
When did you find out that YouTube was the answer for you?
It was
funny. In terms
funny.
of promotion and you know, honing your craft.
It's interesting. Like I was one of the first guys to go viral, like in the stand-up comedy scene with my character Maurica. So this was 2010. And I didn't even understand really what was happening. Nobody really did. The internet wasn't really monetized back then, so you couldn't make any money unless you performed live and cashed in on people wanting to see you. And so that's when I started to realize that I really started to realize, like I remember I had a weekend at Caroline's, the old comedy club Caroline's.
Sure, I knew her.
Yeah, she's great. And I sold out the weekend, like, you know, quickly, like it was hours, and the whole thing sold out. And they told me Chris D'Elia was there the weekend before, and this is when he was on Whitney, and she had a billboard in Times Square, and the marketing of, you know, the network was everywhere, on coasters. Whitney was all over TV, and they said that they had to pull the curtain closed for him. He only could sell half the room. And I shot this video in my living room, my rent-controlled apartment in Brooklyn, and I sold it out like that. And so that's when I started going, oh, this is changing. Something's up. But it's funny, you don't really understand it at the time. Yeah. I almost felt like I was doing something wrong because I came up, it's like you get the late night set, you get the half hour on Comedy Central, you go to Montreal, which was the trajectory for a comedian, and we were all doing those things. I did my half hour Comedy Central, I went to Montreal, and none of that did anything for me. And then when my half hour Comedy Central special aired, nobody saw it. I didn't hear a blip about it. But people were going crazy over these characters on YouTube. So that's when it started.
You have no problem with Maurica, huh?
I love Maurica. I mean,
this is a trans character.
She's a trans Puerto Rican character from the Lower East Side, and she's not politically correct in any way by today's standards. And she's beloved. I mean, she's beloved by, you know, the gays, the Latins. That's what's so great about the character is it kind of, I do shows with her, and you just see the audience is just everybody.
My name is Maurica. I'm a transsexual from the Lower East Side. I'm a third-sexed person, which means I'm a woman living inside what used to be a man's body. That's God's mistake. That's not my fault. That's Jesus Christ messed up.
And ironically, there's been no controversy with her. My other character, Mr. Panos, is Greek. I'm Greek. He's more of a curmudgeon, kind of ethnocentrist.
If I'm going to Mars with Elon Musk, have to have
smoking on the space. You have to be able to send the money back to Greece. And I've gotten more controversy from him than I have her. I mean, there's some Greeks who've been mad about that character. It's like, it makes us look bad. I'm like,
so before you were born, or close to before you were born, the famous Olympia diner scene with Belushi and Aykroyd and Bill Murray on Saturday Night Live, 1978. I
remember.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, that was the Greek passport into America. My grandfather was that generation that started that, so he came here.
Was he a restaurant?
He was a restaurant guy. He had a diner. At one point, him and my granduncle had the biggest square footage, by the square feet, the biggest diner in New York City. It was called the Normandy Diner, and it was on the West Side Highway. And before that, they were at the docks in Red Hook. And they just had diners and 24-hour diners. And he had a German Shepherd that would watch the restaurant. He had to pay off Albert Anastasia's brother down at the Red Hook docks. That was his area. And it was the time. And so he was the generation that started the 24-hour diners. So that the Greeks they figured it out. They're like, Americans like to eat late.
Or grocers.
Or grocers. Well, yeah, and then the Koreans took that over, yeah. Yeah, and it was a Korean.
I mean, all the Greeks I knew were grocers.
Yeah. We got in.
I mean, 4 a.m. at the market.
Yeah. Greeks figured out that Americans like to stay up late. That's what they figured out. They were like, why are we closing? And plus, they didn't want to hang out with their wives. They're like, let's just stay at work. 24-hour diner worked.
So when you grew up in Brooklyn, it was kind of a rough time.
My father bought that house in 1959. It was a brick row house. He bought that house for $28,000 from an Irish family who was still heating it with coal. And, now those houses go for like $4 million, $6 million. Who would?
And how about the people walking around Park Slope?
Oh, it's a different story now. Excuse me. You don't hear a lot of that anymore. There's not a lot of that. It's more like, excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. Make room for my stroller. Yeah, it's a little bit more bougie.
Can you explain to me, because this is all new to me, and unfortunately, I've had to deal with it, the algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm.
Now, what is the algorithm? What would you call it? Is it putting out content constantly in order to get appeal?
Yeah, the algorithm is a device that the social media companies use to make sure that you and the people watching you stay on for as long as possible until your brain becomes mush. And that's just what it is. So they encourage contrarian takes, conspiracy theories. It's an amygdala trigger machine. It's about appealing to you emotionally to trigger you so you get people making content in the comment section, and then they're arguing with each other. And they just want you on there for as long as possible. So it's a psychopath that is emotionless, nuanceless, and is unfortunately separating us by design, unfortunately, and conditioning us in a way that we've never seen.
As you know, throughout my career, I've always been about the results. And so I demand that same level of truth when it comes to my own skincare. And that's why I trust OneSkin to keep me camera ready. I'm 87. I really don't have time for a 10-step routine. So I put this topical eye supplement under my eyes. It takes years off. I like my skin to glow. Their moisturizer does just that. All this was born over a decade of longevity research. OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, unlocking your healthiest skin for years to come. The results are in. OneSkin's my only choice for my skincare routine. So for a limited time, you can try OneSkin for 15% off using the code Maury. That's at oneskin.co/Maury. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with the code Maury. And after you purchase it, they might ask you where you heard about them. Please tell them Maury sent you. Go to the source with the proven results and get your skin back on par today. I'm fascinated by a guy you know.
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I'm fascinated by him. Rogan.
Rogan, yes. Ask me any question about Rogan. I will tell you. Good guy. One of the best.
By the way,
Yeah.
has a lot of comics on.
He's got a lot of comics on and has helped a lot of comics in that new era. He's made a lot of comics careers. And as a person, I will say as a person, and I mean this, and I haven't benefited that much from him. I did his show 5 times or whatever. I got a big bump the first time, but after that, not that much. But he's just he's a mensch. I would say personally in his personal life, he's just a principled guy, a good guy, a loyal guy, a thoughtful guy, an open guy. As a person, he's one of the most principled guys I've met in comedy. Not jealous, giving. He has his opinions. Everyone's got their opinions. He's got a big platform. Some people love it. Some people get upset. It's what it is. That's the time. That's what it is now. If you're big, there's a bunch of people that hate you and a bunch of people that like you. It's just, you got to get used to it. But that's how he is as a person.
So we're past now the unfortunate incident at the Hilton Hotel in Washington with the White House correspondents.
Yeah.
And the attempted, shooting.
Yeah.
The shooting.
Yeah.
And maybe the attempted assassinations of various. Are you looking to play that? Or is that not your?
No, I would do it. There's nothing off for me. If I find a funny angle. I mean, nobody died, which is the good thing. Nobody was hurt, which is the good thing. So it's fodder. I mean, comedy's tragedy plus time. This one, not so much tragedy. So I think there's an earlier entry. It's sad. I mean, it's just the rancor. I think the internet is guilty. I really do, in a lot of ways, for just riling people up so much.
You do this bit about conservatives and liberals. You said there should be 2 airlines.
Right.
There should be a right-wing airline and a left-wing airline.
Everyone's happy, right-wing plane. You get on the plane, everyone's shooting their gun into the ceiling of the plane, Every plane's crashing, but they're all happy because they were free to do it, So it's like... And you get in the liberal plane, everyone's looking around for instances of inequality or fucking sexism. Worst of all, privilege. Is there any fucking privilege on here?
Yeah. It's a bit,
Where did you get that from?
It was, so I was on a plane.
Oh, it was on during COVID, I guess, maybe.
It was during COVID, and that's on my Mom Love special. What is it? Yeah, it's on the Mom Love special, and I wanted to lampoon both sides and sort of lampoon this isolationism that's happening, because, I set it up with a joke where I go like, this divide didn't used to be so serious, like back in the day, everyone had Democrats and Republicans in their family. Nobody cared. And I go, remember, your dad was a Republican because he owned a business, and your mom was a Democrat because she lived off of him. And it was like, nobody cared. So I soften it up, and then I go into this, hypothetical. And the whole point is like, if we separate, maybe, because so much of the identity of both sides is about hating the other one. So if you just get what you want, then you'll start to see maybe how annoying your side is. And so it just sets up a scenario where a plane is just, hey, you got a gun on the plane, and you're doing all these things, and then the liberals, the same thing. And so I lampoon both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was pretty good at that, but then I had Joy Reid on recently. And so I started questioning her. She made a comment where Republicans commit all the fraud. Democrats don't do anything. I said, what?
Yeah, right.
And the next thing you know, the comments were, I'm a Trumpster,
Right.
I'm a this, I'm
Welcome
a that.
to the internet.
God, where did that come from? I mean, I'm just challenging her on something she said, and now I'm the guy.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of times you don't know who these comments are coming from. It's been a real tool of disinformation that has been utilized a lot of times by foreign actors too. Like, you don't know who they are, and they just want to sow doubt. So you'll have you don't know if these people are from Pakistan, China, Russia, anywhere, Brazil. You don't know who they are. And the negativity bias that we have, the cognitive bias of the negativity bias, we see one comment, we magnify it.
I know, that's the worst.
That's what we do.
I mean, I had never in my life had somebody accuse me.
Yeah, and it was probably
being
30 people, and probably a lot of them weren't even real. But your brain goes, I did something wrong. The internet, it's like, it's actually funny because they call it internet traffic, but the internet is kind of like a car crash. It's like, that's what gets views now. You know how car crashing creates a bottleneck? There's a car crash, everyone slows down. And that's what gets views now. So everyone's creating car crashes in order to create traffic.
I mean, just this weekend, there was an AI thing that went viral. Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini come on my talk show, and I'm reading whether he's the father, and and it's all AI.
Yeah.
And it goes viral.
Crazy, yeah.
And my sister says, are you going to set everybody straight that it's not you? I said, no, I'm not it's an AI.
Yeah,
I don't have to apologize for anything.
Something that doesn't exist in the real world. Yeah. It's we're in a whole new reality, aren't we? And part of that is
Is it real or not?
Yeah, is it real? Instead of are you the father now, you're like, is it real or not? We got the doc. It's a fake. Oh, thank God. Thank God Putin doesn't want to attack us.
I mean, it went millions of viewers.
Yeah.
I must say it was set up pretty good.
Yeah. You can't tell. A lot of times you can't
The only
tell.
way I could tell was, that's not my voice. I mean, I know my voice.
They get close, though. They
Oh,
get
very
really
close.
They get really close. And the scary part is this is just the beginning. I mean, how old is AI? So who knows what it's going to be in 5 years?
Does your wife ever get upset at you when you start talking about your family?
No, not about my family, but if I
How about the kids?
If I mention another girl or woman, she doesn't like that. Yeah. I have a joke about you. She came and watched me. I was at Levity Live in West Nyack this weekend. And I love it when she comes. And, I love her watching me, but she always has one note about that. She's like, that was disrespectful. And I was like, I know. I always go, it's an act, it's an act, it's an act. So that's the only thing she gets upset about. But I try to be respectful about the family. I try to keep my personal life private and offline and everything like that.
See, I believe that anybody in this kind of business, when you're attracting an audience, we all have egos, big egos. So what I don't understand is you go on with Chris Distefano, your good buddy. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you rather be alone?
No, I love the chemistry. I have another podcast, the Yannis Pappas Hour, where I just rant, and it's my take on big issues. It's a little bit more, philosophical or social commentary. But with Chris, he's such a silly guy, and he's coming on your show, you'll see. He makes me feel like a kid again, and we balance each other so well because he's so silly, and I tend to sometimes get a little too serious. So it's just one of those things where we have a chemistry. I don't know what that is.
How long have you known each other?
I've known him I've known him over almost close to 15 years.
But you do this weekly.
Weekly. And if you listen to it, it's rapid fire. It's almost like some of the stuff sounds written. When I listen back, I'm like, it almost sounds like we wrote that, but we just riff so well together and complement each other, and it has a comedic rhythm, and it's a wild show. It's not for everybody. It's definitely uncensored and wild.
You got to do it to your daughters. You got to pick up your daughters.
Yeah, I got a crook in my back.
You crick in your back, yeah, and I've never heard the word crick, but I like it.
Crook.
Crook.
A crack. Isn't it? Don't they call it a crook or a crack?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Crink?
But, two-man comedy. It's an old formula, It's kind of, he's the wild, chaotic one. I kind of rein him in.
And you have guests.
And we have guests sometimes. And, we mix it up. And it's a new form of comedy.
You brought somebody on the other day I watched. Mm-hmm. I'd never even heard of him, and he's been around forever. David Cross.
Oh, David Cross, one of the legends, yeah.
What does that mean, one of the legends?
He's a legend. He's like probably one of the guys responsible for like the alternative comedy scene where, comedy clubs were very, the humor was very just like, race stuff or just like kind of you're my wife or my
very
women. And he just turned it into something a little bit more heady, a little bit more meaningful. And the scene got ruined after that, like all scenes. But he's a pioneer in that way, and he has some legendary comedy specials. He's one of the reasons. He has a special in '99 that was on HBO that I think is still one of the best specials I've seen. And he made me an organ donor because of that special. Because he had a very edgy joke about that. He's like, I don't understand people's obsession with their dead bodies. It's like, you can help somebody. And then he goes into what, he was like, I don't care what you do with my body. And then it's a lot of funny stuff.
So you became an organ donor.
I became an organ donor because of that joke. And I swear to God, I listened to that joke. And it was so funny and so rang true to me. I was like, yeah, if I'm dead, please help somebody else.
So you don't care whether you have a Netflix special?
It would be nice just because I have 3 YouTube ones. I'd like to mix it up, maybe get another audience. But now it's so saturated. I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of friends who've had Netflix specials and they haven't moved the needle at all. And now YouTube is saturated. So it's a saturated marketplace. So the approach now, I think, for all of us is sort of, if you're lucky enough to have a hit show like me and Chris have with History Hyenas, you just want to build a niche. It's a little unfortunate we're all in our little silos, but...
One of my dearest friends is Lewis Black.
The great Lewis Black, yeah.
Why do so many comics say the great Lewis Black?
Because he's so great. I mean, he's just, his delivery was just, he's all disheveled and he's,
And all the F-bombs.
Yeah, all the F-bombs. He's just great. Yeah, it's just you're watching something, entertaining and funny, and that's all. It's as simple as that. He's a great
and yet
performer.
I've seen Lewis lately. He now has gone to YouTube with the rants.
Yeah,
I mean it's not his big comedy Netflix stuff anymore.
Yeah, it's a tech takeover. I mean, Los Angeles is this close to being Detroit in the '80s. I mean, it's a tech take. I mean, it's just what hasn't tech taken over?
It's amazing to me that people find it.
Yeah. The algorithm.
Because there's so much.
Yeah. And so in some ways the algorithm is the only arbitrating force or, the algorithm just goes, what are you interested in? And then if you watch something similar to Lewis Black, then it might push Lewis Black into your algorithm. We're all in these algorithms. It's wild.
All right, I have this little game.
Oh, I'm psyched for it. Especially when it comes out of a
envelope.
A manila. I mean,
geez.
Yeah.
Norman looked at that envelope and said, holy.
Yeah, I think it looks
holy shit.
Looks like you're serving me papers. I've seen a lot of those.
Or determining whether you're the father or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Is it on par or off the rails?
Okay.
All right. In the case of on par or off the rails, Yannis, putting shredded cheddar on your Greek salad over feta cheese.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! That's one of the worst things I've ever heard. Holy, that is a new level of pineapple on pizza. That you should go to prison. It's a crime against humanity. They made maybe the death penalty, depending on how much you put, how much cheese. That is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. As soon as you said it, I don't know if I can eat today. You don't touch feta. You don't do anything with feta.
It's my favorite salad.
Yes.
My favorite.
Me too.
Even at big, I go to these hoity-toity golf country clubs and they have this big, dining room. And say, what salad do you want? I want Greek salad. That's what I want.
Hordiadiki.
And you also make comments about real olive oil and bullshit olive oil.
Oh, you gotta have the real olive oil. Gotta get it. You gotta get it. It's gotta come on a plate. It's gotta come from a relative. I won't eat the olive oil on a salad unless I know it. I gotta know the route it took to America. It's gotta come from a Greek family member's village to the diaspora Greeks. We have a whole thing.
On par, off the rails. Comedians who post more crowd work clips than actual jokes.
I have sympathy for that because you don't want to burn material. So, I mean.
So it's on par.
For me, it's on par. I know it gets a lot of hate, but it's on par.
Being from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Being a Knicks fan.
Absolutely.
On par or off the rails?
That's on par. It's on par. I don't even know what's going on.
And
with
what
the
about
Nets.
Yankees or Mets?
Yankees, baby? I'm a
Wow,
winner.
you're from Brooklyn and
Yankees, yeah.
not Mets.
Mets is for Queens. Mets is for people, you know, they don't have a winning pedigree. They got lucky one time. It took a guy with bad knees for them to get a World Series. I'm a Yankee. I like the evil empire. That's what I like. I'm for strength.
Yeah.
The Yankees.
I grew up when they were definitely the evil empire.
Yes.
Because I was from Washington. And back then, our American League team, its name was First in War, First in Peace, Last in the American League.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, Yankees, it's also like, you know, we ended the Civil War. We're Yankees. And yeah, we won. We won. I like the name.
On par, off the rails. Social media followers matter more than stage time.
Unfortunately, it's true. So it's on par. If you're young, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. But for me, it's off the rails. But, you know, for the young kids, it's on par. I mean, that's one of those. Can I break the rules there?
Sure.
I mean, I think that's on par and off the rails.
Depending on who you are.
Depending on who you are. Contextual.
On par, off the rails. Greece has the best falafel in the Mediterranean.
I got to give it to the Arabs. I got to give it to the.
I would think.
Yeah, I got to give it to the Middle Eastern, non-Greek, Levantine, whatever. I got to give it. You know, I got to give it to them for falafel. But it's not a Turkish coffee. It's a Greek coffee. Okay. It's a Greek coffee. It's a Greek coffee.
Greek coffee is strong?
It's strong. Yeah.
I love
It's
strong.
And there's a big thing. Turks will say it's a Turkish coffee. Greeks will say it's a Greek coffee. You know, we have our baklava. They have their baklava.
In the old days, when I was in the news business, they'd make the coffee at like 9 a.m. So we're doing late night shows, and the coffee is still there. You talk about thick and black and strong.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad used to drink like 150 cups of coffee a day. He lived till 91. I don't think it's bad for you. And they say it's good, right?
Yeah.
Listen, you need something. You can't get who raw daddy's life? You got to have some coffee, nicotine. Something.
Take away a lot of things, but not the coffee.
Sometimes I dream about the coffee I'm going to drink in the morning at night. You ever do that? You're going to sleep and you're like,
but I make
wait.
my own.
Yeah.
I make my own
Me
coffee.
too in the morning.
And it's not one of these highfalutin espresso machines and all that stuff. It's just I got the filter, I got the coffee, I put it in. I make it for me. I make it for the housekeeper, anybody who walks in,
Yeah.
and that's it.
That's beautiful. And there's nothing, a cup of coffee is as close to a fingerprint as you get because people are very specific with what they like. You find what you like and you're like, too much milk, just a pinch of sugar, almond milk. It's very specific.
I used to drink my coffee black, nothing else. Mm-hmm. And I was a smoker. And then when I decided to stop smoking, I had to change the coffee because cigarettes and coffee, that was the best.
Peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, it just works.
Yeah. So I had to change it. So I've been going black with sugar.
Right.
So I won't have the desire anymore.
Right. It is a good combo, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They almost feel like they're supposed to be together.
Right.
Whenever I have a cup of coffee, something's missing.
So you're a history buff.
Yeah.
You're a survivor.
Survivor. Yeah.
Is there a scar?
There's a scar. It's a little hole. It looks like that. It's a smooth skin. It just looks like, like an Asian person. There's no hair growing there. And then I'm Greek everywhere else. Hairless. I want to get shot everywhere. Just get rid of the hair. I'm too hairy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever done this, but we do this at the end. You ever sign a golf ball?
Never. You know what I always wondered about golf? Yeah. Professional golfers, when they retire, did they just retire to play more golf?
I don't.
It's like that's what you do when you retire, but you're professional.
Ben Hogan, he used to play golf with a cigarette in his mouth until the day he died.
Yeah, it's one of those sports where you can put athlete in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Right. Anyone can do it.
But I must say, the pro golfers today, they look like linebackers. They're so buff.
They are buff, yeah. Yeah. Some of them crash cars. Nate Bargatze, great golf. He is a scratch. He's almost like literally a scratch golfer. He's such a good golfer. Yeah.
I may have to try to convince him to come on.
You should. You should try to get him on here.
Would he say a swear word or not?
No, he would not say a swear word. He doesn't say even darn. He won't even say darn. You can go to a Nate Bargatze show with a 4-month-old baby and your great-grandmother. The whole family can go, and he's so funny, and he's clean. It's just for everybody. He's got a movie coming. I'm promoting Nate's movie. He's got a movie coming out right now, so I'm sure it'll do well.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
I know, this is
It was
fun.
a lot of fun. Thank you. I got 2 girls.
I know they got girls.
Yeah.
I love the bit about you don't know whether the girl's going to be trans or not.
You gotta wait for her. I gotta wait for her to tell me.
And by the way, my wife and I laughed hysterically at the right-wing, left-wing airlines.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Trying to lampoon both sides.
Right. Are you thinking about what happened over the weekend? Does that ring a bell or not?
Yeah. It's getting crazy out there. It's getting a little crazy. People need to.
I love the way Trump justified building the ballroom now.
What did he say? I didn't.
He
catch
said,
it.
"Now you know why we have to have a secure ballroom."
Right. That's a little bit of what we call leap in logic.
Yeah.
But okay. Lebanese probably.
Lebanese
do it the best.
is the best.
Yeah.
Falafel.
Yeah, like.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
you.
If I need like hummus or tahini,
Right.
I go to a Lebanese place. Yeah. Greeks don't do hummus well. Don't do it. And tahini for me is one of the greatest things that's ever.
I want to thank you for listening wherever you get podcasts. Thanks for watching on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe, rate us, subscribe us, punch us up. All right? Give us 5 stars.